Welcome to the Octopod. I'm Kyle Davis, head of the Office of the CTO. Join us as we dive into the latest technologies and trends shaping business. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just looking to stay ahead in the digital age, this podcast is for you. Let's unlock opportunities with technology together. Let's jump in.
Welcome back, everyone, to a special edition of my podcast series, this time with our friends from Microsoft. We're in part 2 now of our Cloud Beyond IaaS series, where we're talking about all things cost optimization as part of a series where we go from the strategic down to the technical detail of all these topics. Today, I'm joined by Michelle and Sam. Guys, you want to introduce yourself? Sam?
Hi guys, I'm Sam Swaby. I'm Senior Solution Architect at CDW.
Hi, I'm Michelle and I'm the Digital and App Innovation Go-to-Market for the UK business.
So, App Modernisation, it's a very broad topic. Sam, what does it mean to you and to CDW and Microsoft when someone says our app mod? What comes to mind? What do we want customers to be thinking about?
It's thinking about looking at what you have today in terms of your line of business applications, and we see many of our customers where those applications are very important to the business and yet are aging or monolithic, lots of moving parts to them. And it's about then taking app mod and what cloud can offer and bringing scalability, economic benefits because you bring efficiencies and reduce the man hours required to maintain it.
So really it's about driving that speed of business and that value of business that we talked about in the cost optimization piece with Wendy, so that they can get value from that cloud investment at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And Michelle, from your position within Microsoft, what do you see as app mod and what are the conversations you're having with customers at a high level?
Yeah, so we see a couple of things. There are like direct and indirect benefits. Some of the direct benefits we kind of discuss with customers are things like economically, is the customer going to lower their costs by modernizing their applications? Are they going to be able to scale better, pay for what they're actually using rather than having the underlying infrastructure costs? And then also looking at financially, what's the ROI that they are getting? What about cash flow? They'll be able to kind of save money and use that money, as Sam said, to innovate.
No, it makes sense. It sounds like there's a few core themes here that we need to address. And just so everyone knows, there's 4 that we're going to talk about in this episode. What are the economic benefits? What's the finance benefits? What do IT get out of it? And what does the business get out of it at the end of the day, which is probably the most important part of all of these wrapped together. So let's take them in that order, I guess. So Michelle, you touched on it a little bit already, but what's the bigger picture around the economic value of app modernization?
So around the economic value, we see a lot of opportunity for new revenue streams. So we look at when you're modernizing your application, you're saving up on infrastructure costs, as I kind of mentioned. And we'll also look at using different types of toolings and toolings that can also save you time in terms of development. So we also think about new ways of how the ways our developers can develop as well. So what about the use of GitHub Copilot and where they can save as well? So kind of it's very broad in terms of economic benefits.
So really about driving that frontline revenue for the organization though, and unlocking new opportunities. And is that what you see, Sam, as well in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. And also you have to think that adopting this, your competitors are probably doing the same thing. So it is about reducing that time to value, and an app mod absolutely brings that to the table in terms of that time to value and speed to get something back from your application.
And I guess there's the second topic then was the financial piece, and we touched a little bit on in the first session where we talked about this sort of value versus cost, as in hard costs, etc. But when you talk finance, Michelle, to customers, what do you mean by that, and what are the sort of things you're seeing?
Yeah, so of course customers want to measure their ROI. And sometimes when you're looking at a modernization strategy, perhaps the ROI is not that obvious and it's a bit more long term. So it will be a bit harder to predict at times what the financial benefits are to the business. But we work with the likes of, say, Forrester and IDC to kind of show what other customers have done, what the savings other customers have done, and how modernizing not only kind of unlocks ways to develop better, to build better applications, to be more innovative, but also to save long term. So it's kind of, it's a bit like CapEx and OpEx, which is a different way of running your business as well.
And from your side, Sam, I guess that app mod piece hopefully takes us away from the monolithic VM-based architectures to more platform and microservices-based ones. Do you see that then is where we can sort of drive some of them costs, them hard cost savings, as it were?
Absolutely, and Michelle just then touched on the CapEx versus OpEx. If you have to think, if you have a spiky application, and this could be more relevant to some of our customers than others, more predictable, whether that be the certain time of the month or certain time of the year when that potentially there's going to be more business coming in and therefore an application needs to work harder. You have that scalability, whereas in a world on-prem, you would have to pay for coverage of those spiky periods. So absolutely. And I think also a lot of people have supportability issues as well. So we're talking about vendors that may not support actively an application anymore, or we've heard it many times from our customers where it could be proprietary to the business and it's no longer looked after, or somebody's moved on that wrote the code. And these alleviate all those issues of outsourcing and the costs associated to that.
So lots of potential financial benefits that could be multifaceted, but it's about building that strategy and taking that longer term view, and not necessarily a right now saving, but what does it look like for the business overall. Very sort of CFO focused and CEO focused conversations there, which is great. But a lot of our listeners are in the IT field, they're part of the IT team and department, etc. Michelle, from your side, what value do you see the IT people getting from this sort of app mod journey?
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's a tricky one, right? Because when you speak to IT and you talk to them about app modernization, it is something very different to what they have traditionally done. So there's also kind of that element. So the value of looking at the benefits is always very important, especially when talking to IT business. But I think a few things to kind of highlight are think about better ways of securing your applications, making sure you're more compliant. With modernizing your application, it becomes easier. You are more agile to do this, keep up with the latest capabilities, the latest features. And there's also tooling within Azure, right, as well, to help keep on top of your costs. So it kind of ties back into the financial benefits, but I think they all come together at that point.
Yeah, and Sam, do you see that from a people perspective? I mean, from techie backgrounds, etc. We want to play with new tools, we want to use new things. We don't necessarily want to be bogged down with managing the mundane BAU stuff there. So this app mod piece drives that ability for us to spend our time in more interesting areas and on new technology.
Absolutely, Rob. And being in IT myself and in many positions, 15 plus years, you want to be at the forefront of innovation and playing with the new shiny toys and not being burdened with those other layers that cloud take away and app mod takes away as well, in terms of managing storage or virtual machines and being, faster to value for your business and focusing on that innovation.
So I guess we took away that infrastructure management piece with cloud, and now we're taking away that virtual machine and OS management piece through app mod by going down that PaaS or microservices route. We're just effectively further layers of abstraction, better agility, but again, freeing people up to focus on something cool and innovative that hopefully differentiates the business and allows them to grow and get the value, which I guess is where our final topic comes in really, isn't it? All of this is, what does it actually mean for the business? The head honchos there going, I want to go into a new market, or I want to grab new customer base on market share or whatever. I mean, is this the core of what we're trying to enable for the CEO of the organization?
Yeah, 100% agree. Kind of the business growth is the final kind of business benefit and digital transformation for customers that we want to see, and giving them the ability to be more agile not just from a technical perspective, but also from a business perspective. Do they want to introduce new features? How fast can they introduce those features? And modernizing helps them achieve this faster. So it will give them a competitive advantage, right? So yes, these are some of the kind of things we want our customers to think about when modernizing their applications or going on this transformation journey. And eventually it will help unlock benefits such as even including AI into those applications, because now they're built on more of a cloud native approach.
No, that makes perfect sense, Michelle. Thank you. Sam, just thinking, bringing this to life a little bit, where have we seen the use of these new sort of app technologies integrated into customers' environments to drive that value?
There's many examples we could touch on for our customers, but if I take one of recent days, was a customer who was struggling with their line of business applications, and they wanted cloud to help out for the app mod perspective. So web apps, application gateway, built-in load balancers, regional load balancers, and then the use of Elasticsearch at the end was a streamlined architecture that really simplified the flow and brought all those scalability benefits to the table as well.
Cool. So is that sort of combining traditional architectures with modern to help that customer on a journey then? So they're not having to do everything in one go, but they're bringing new cloud technologies on top to deliver additional value or solve specific challenges?
Absolutely. And it is solving specific challenges because of kind of the API limits that they were hitting previously, and they're able to tackle these challenges head on, and staying close also to the Azure roadmap and being able to iterate on those different individual elements of the architecture and continuously improve.
What a great example of that sort of hybrid approach, and that the fact that you don't have to do everything in one go. You can start to layer these cloud technologies in to grow your capabilities and then go on a journey over time rather than having to do it all as a big bang, which is fantastic that it's tangible in that sense. But Michelle, I guess closing with yourself, what would your sort of top tip be? So people are going to come and listen to the deep dive sessions, etc. But what's the starting point for all of this?
I guess from a business perspective, streamlining your processes is important, understanding what's the priority for the business, and then understanding which of those applications would really the business would benefit from them being modernized. And benefits, as we said, would be by achieving scalability, by achieving reliability, the app being more secure, for example. So that would be something I would say, yes, that customers should definitely think about.
Excellent. Thank you both for all of your insights, and we'll see you again for the deep dive sessions. And thank you everyone for listening. I've been Rob Sims, Chief Technologist for CDW.
I've been Sam Swaby, Senior Solution Architect at CDW.
Michelle Azzopardi, Digital and App Innovation Go-to-Market Manager.
Thank you everyone. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode. Be sure to check out the back catalogue for more great insights. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. We appreciate your support. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Catch you next time.